What felt like hours upon hours after the wedding, I wandered through the main area of the ferry where we had the reception. It was summer in Alaska, so the sun had just set, even though it was well past midnight. I stood in the room, spinning in a slow circle. Staff had swept away all evidence of the wedding, so the ferry would resume regular operations. My heart pinched when my eyes snagged on a daisy that had fallen to the floor. I loved daisies, but they'd been ruined for me by my high school boyfriend. Forget him. I hated his name and didn't even like to think it. My one serious ex-boyfriend had left deep scars of cynicism in my heart when I'd learned the helpful lesson that some people wanted me for all the wrong reasons. He used to give me daisies. Whatever, I muttered to myself. The newlyweds had retired to their honeymoon suite, one of the tiny cabins on the ferry. My brother, Kenan, insisted it would be romantic, even if it was crowded. I shook my wistful thoughts away, focusing on how happy I was for my brother and Quinn. Nothing was better than best friends falling in true love. With another spin, I walked out of the empty room. By the sounds coming from the cafeteria kitchen, I imagined they were preparing food for the following day. I walked outside and saw the front deck, where a few people milled about the open area where tents were set up. The Alaska ferry system had options. There were actual cabins, a place to put up tents on the big deck, and a covered area with heat lamps where people claimed lounge chairs to sleep on and sleeping bags. Communal showers were available for those who didn't have their own cabins. I stayed along the side deck where it was just me, accompanied by the sound of the ocean water lapping gently against the hull as the ferry moved through the dark waters of the Gulf of Alaska. When I rested my elbows on the railing, the metal felt cool against my skin. I took a slow breath, breathing in the crisp, briny air. The sky was darkening to indigo with the barest hint of daylight left. I heard footsteps approaching and glanced to my side. My heart jolted as my eyes landed on the silhouette. I had looked at this man a few too many times this evening. Jack Hamilton, the reason for my accidental black eye. I lifted my fingertips, lightly touching the flat of my cheekbone under my eye. It was puffy and a little sore. "Hey, Jack Hamilton," I called over. A little splash in the water near the boat punctuated my voice. A few long strides later, Jack stopped beside me. He had his hands stuffed in the pockets of his jeans. "Hey, McKenna Cannon," he replied, his voice laced with a hint of humor.